R-A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome in to season 4 of the Good Old Fashioned Dislike Podcast, where dynasties never die and hate is an extreme word, but just barely. On this podcast, we usually pick a football rivalry and we submit that rivalry to the panel of dislike. They will come up with reasons why we like one team, dislike one team, and vice versa. By the end, we come to a conclusion of where our football loyalties lie, mainly based on non-football things. But that's what's so much fun. But today, we're going to be predicting our predictions of who's going to win the college football playoff semifinal matchups of Indiana Hoosiers. Congratulations, Indiana, on your big win over Alabama. My Crimson Tide, hate we didn't show up and give you a better run for your money, but congratulations either way. A great win, a dominant win. And of course, they'll face in a rematch, which somewhat gives me pause, the Oregon Ducks. And then, of course, the Ole Miss Rebels, the Fighting Pete Goldings, taking on the Miami Hurricanes, which, boy, they have looked impressive. Certainly a lot of stuff to cover. We're going to be doing mainly predictions tonight from the panel Dislike. Of course, presenting our official panel of Dislike picks along the way. And of course, we would love for you to weigh in and your picks. We by no means are experts, and you should not take any of these predictions to the bank, but it is fun. It is something we do every single year as football season wrap up. And of course, then we'll get into the wild card and discussions of the NFL for those of you that may like the National Football League. And of course, put your predictions in the comments, and I'll be happy to throw them up on the screen. And your takes are just as important as mine are the panels. So feel free to comment. And good to see you too, Jonathan and Dowdy. I hope you're doing all right. Hey, your Cowboys are not in. My Ravens, of course, lost on a terribly missed field goal. So help us out, comment, share it, like it, interact in any way, and we'll try to get you up on the screen and get your comment in and your prediction. So I guess just to start, what are you guys thinking about the college football playoff? Once again, unfortunately, my team did not show up, but having a bye week continues to be an issue, a problem for those who absolutely get it. Outside of Indiana, of course, who took care of business out in Pasadena that I got to see in person. But I think some good football is coming up for sure. Lots of good football starting this week early. So pretty excited about that. Getting some technical stuff set up, and we'll get into hey, Happy Dunk. What's up? That's a lot of highs. I can throw one of those up, and I'll do that. Hello, Happy Dog. And I'm with you, Mr. Dowdy. I like Ole Miss. I'd like to see Ole Miss win it for my good old pals over there in Mississippi, either them or Indiana. I do think that, I've not seen a lot of athletic quarterbacks go against Indiana, and I think Trinidad Chambliss could be an interesting matchup if they can get past Miami, which is a big deal. There's no promises there for sure. But yeah, be sure to share the live stream, comment your picks. I like the pick there, Mr. Downey. I think it certainly can happen. I think Ole Miss has got a great chance to beat Miami, but they're going to need a great game plan to do so. Get this shared in the Ben and Travis group, and we'll get right to it. All right. Yes. Michigan football. Yes. Thank you for subscribing, Happy Dog 6741. Not a Michigan fan here, at least not anymore, but glad you subscribed. Thank you for doing that. All right. Let's get these picks pulled up. we will start with the Indiana Oregon matchup. If I can get those pulled up here. I personally, my personal picks, I've got Indiana winning, although I almost pulled Oregon Ducks getting that win because, man, the rematch, it just keeps proving true that it's hard to beat a good team twice. Indiana beat Oregon 30-20, or was it 20-10? I don't know. It was 10 points, and they were able to pull off the win over Oregon at Oregon. And time again, for whatever reason, it's been hard to beat a team twice. Alabama gets Oklahoma in the second go-around. Georgia gets Bama in the second go-around. Ole Miss gets Georgia in the go-around. But I'm going to go ahead and pull the Indiana. I've seen them in person. A lot of upperclassmen, a lot of chemistry there. And so I'm picking Indiana to beat the Oregon Ducks. Ben Hayes is on board with me. Josh Thorne, panel member, is also taking Indiana. I think this may have been one of our unanimous picks. Blake Coleman picks Indiana to beat Oregon, and Will Mahan picks Oregon. That is an official unanimous Indiana Hoosier win, moving on to the national championship as a 1 seed. The panel officially, we all unanimously pick Indiana, the Big Ten champs, right off a 38-3 thrashing of the Crimson Tide in the granddaddy of them all. And so we've got Indiana moving on to the national championship. All right, we're on to the other semifinal with the Ole Miss Rebels. As Mr. Dowdy has said, he is rolling with the Ole Miss Rebels. Josh Thorne throwing in there hotty toddy all the way. Andy Duncan says hotty toddy all the way. I hope so, Andy. Pulling for you, pulling for Ole Miss. And, of course, Josh Thorne has mentioned a lot of upperclassmen for sure for Indiana. They've played a lot of football. And I think that's something that people are underestimating in this, like experience. Man, I know they're trying to put a price on experience. But, man, you just about can't put price on experience. And, that's my thought with Ty Simpson. I know there are a lot of people ready to see Ty go. But I'm going to tell you this right now, that experience is valuable. I love Keelan, looking forward to it. I think Austin Mack can do a good job. But you can't replicate Ty Simpson's experience. And so that alone is the reason I want him to come back. Ben Hayes, who's currently sitting at 4-5, he had a huge lead in our competition, and he's come back to earth. He's sitting at 4-5. He's going with the Miami Hurricanes to beat the Ole Miss Rebels in the other semifinals. So Ben Hayes has an Indiana-Miami Hurricanes national championship matchup. I am going also with Miami over Ole Miss, going with my head and not my heart. I'm going with Miami over Ole Miss. Sorry. I will be cheering for Ole Miss, though, Andy. I'll be cheering for them. I don't know what that means or if that consoles you in any way. Josh Thorne taking Miami over Ole Miss for an Indiana-Miami national championship. You want to talk about a conflicting cultures meeting up there. Blake Holloman takes Miami to beat Ole Miss. Will Mahan takes he's going to take Ole Miss over Miami. So it's not unanimous. Will Mahan is your buddy there, Andy Duncan, and he's rolling with the hottie toddies to make it to the college football national championship. So that's 4 of the panel saying it will be the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers, and the one, Will Mahan, who is currently sitting at 3-5, saying it'll be the Indiana Hoosiers and the Ole Miss Rebels for a national championship here in a week or so. And so Ben at 4-5, Will at 3-5. And then, of course, we get into the college football. Nick Suarez says, unemployment final boss. Not sure what that's in reference to. I may have missed the reference, but there you go. Got you on the screen either way. All right, so on to the National Football League. First of all, we have the LA Rams traveling to Carolina to take on the Bryce Young-led Carolina Panthers. Happy that they got in. I think most of us are saying that they will not be in for long with Matthew Stafford, who seems to just get younger, I think. Ben Hayes has the LA Rams over the Panthers. I'm sitting at 6-3. I'm leading the pack right now. That's probably about to change. I'm taking the Rams over the Panthers as much as I want to see Bryce Young win. Josh Thorne is taking the Rams over the Panthers. Blake Holloman is taking the Rams over the Panthers. And Will Mahan is taking the Rams over the Panthers. And so unanimously, the official panel of dislike pick is for the Rams to move on after defeating the Bryce Young-led Carolina Panthers. Josh Thorne is 5-2 in the competition, second place right now. Got a long way to go. All the playoffs, all of March Madness. Next matchup, we have a division matchup, division rivals, heated rivals with the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers, the upstart Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers. Andy Duncan going with the Rams over the Panthers. Rams over the Panthers. He joins the panel of dislike and agreement there. Be sure to like the live stream, share it. If you hadn't subscribed on YouTube, make sure to do that. It certainly helps us. So the Bears and the Packers, we've got Ben Hayes rolling with the Bears over the Packers. The Bears, I had to do it once. I'm going with Bears over Packers, although that makes me a little uncomfortable. That was one of my question marks. You know, it's just hard to get on the Bears bandwagon. Josh Thorne is taking the Chicago Bears over the Green Bay Packers. Sorry, that's my best chance, best try. Blake Holloman taking the Bears over the Packers. Will Mahan is taking the Bears over the Packers, and so it's another unanimous official pick of the panel is the Bears over the Packers. Andy Duncan is on the same train. He agrees with us as well. This is getting scary around here. So number next in the pick'em, Ben Hayes. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. Talk about an upstart. The Jags coming out of nowhere. Jonathan Dowdy says, what about you? Do you got Seattle and Buffalo in the Super Bowl? I don't know. This is one of those we're deciding right now. Bigfoot Research Advisor doesn't like either of these teams. But I like Buffalo. I'm not sure if I went with them or not. I'll have to see in just a minute. Ben Hayes is taking the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Bills. Jacksonville Jaguars over the Bills. I am taking the Buffalo Bills, Jonathan Dowdy. I'm taking the Bills in an upset. It seems weird to say an upset when you have Josh Allen. But I'm taking the Bills. I'm dissenting, I think, from everyone else. We got a Green Bay all the way. And to be fair, Andy Duncan's going with Buffalo. Bigfoot Researcher Advisor is going with Green Bay all the way. And so I'm dissenting. I'm going Buffalo Bills over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Thorne, I think that's my one upset, is going Jags over the Bills. Blake Holloman, Jags over the Bills. And I think Will Mahan actually is going to agree with me. No, he is going with the Jaguars. No, he's going with the Bills. So Will Mahan and myself are going with the Buffalo Bills to upset the Jacksonville Jaguars, but the official panel of dislike pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, number next, Ben Hayes. We got the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers, the defending world champions. Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, all those fun guys. Ben is taking the Philadelphia Eagles over the San Francisco 49ers. and the reigning Super Bowl champions keep moving down the line. I'm going Eagles over the Niners. Josh Thorne is going Eagles over the Niners. Blake Holloman is going Eagles over the Niners. And Will Mahan is going Eagles over the Niners for another unanimous panel of dislike pick. The Philadelphia Eagles. Andy Duncan, we're rolling on the same page here. So the Eagles move on. All right, the next NFL wildcard matchup is the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles, I almost said San Diego, but Los Angeles Chargers. The New England Patriots are back a little bit, kind of shocked. I love their coach. Hated the Titans, let him go. But the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Chargers. Ben Hayes is rolling with New England. The Pat the Patriot, getting the win over the Chargers. I'm going with the Pats over the Chargers. Blake Holloman's going Pats over Chargers. I think I skipped Josh Thorne. Josh Thorne, Patriots over the Chargers. And Will Mahan is Pats over the Chargers. Another unanimous. You're right there with us, Andy Duncan. Unanimous panel of dislike pick is the Pats over the Chargers. Patriots over the Chargers. All right, the last matchup of the wild card weekend of the NFL. You've got Ben Hayes picking the Houston Texans and the despicable Pittsburgh Steelers. The despicable Pittsburgh Steelers, who I knew was going to beat my Ravens. I just wish it wasn't in such a gut-wrenching fashion. But Ben Hayes is taking the Houston Texans and D'Amico Ryans, Roll Tide. Will Anderson Jr., Roll Tide. Henry To'oTo'o, Roll Tide. I think Christian Harris is still there, so Roll Tide. But yeah, more importantly, D'Amico Ryans, a brother in Christ. Ben Hayes taking the Texans over the Steelers. I'm taking the Texans over the Steelers because we need to be delivered. Josh Thorne is taking the Texans over the Steelers. Blake Holloman is taking the Texans over the Steelers. And Will Mahan rounds it out by taking the Texans over the Steelers and another unanimous panel of dislike pick. Andy Duncan says he's going with the Steelers for sake. I would be, because they always put my team out. Missed field goal. Man, what about Harbaugh gone after 18 years? As a Ravens fan, I don't think I'm happy with that. 18 years, plenty of success, and he's out. But nonetheless, a great week of football. Looking forward to it. I hate the transfer portal era. Yeah, that gets my golden dislike every time. But the Indiana Hoosiers, the dislike national champions. Ohio State was the original dislike national champions. It is a week-to-week championship, and so the Hoosiers took it away from them in the Big Ten championship, and the Oregon Ducks get a chance to become the dislike national champions, the third ever dislike national champions. We at the panel dislike do not think that's going to happen. We think that the Oregon Ducks are going to lose to Indiana again, and the official pick is that Ole Miss will lose to Miami. That does not make any of us happy, Andy. And so it's the Miami Hurricanes and Indiana in the national championship, and we'll be back to make our predictions for that. Until then, have a great evening. We hope that you all are doing well out there, staying away from the flu, and staying out of that transfer portal. Don't be transferring anywhere, Andy. Jonathan Dowdy says that the Cowboys have fired their defensive coordinator. And Andy Duncan says it is the changing of the guard with the portal era. It's true. It's a whole new way of doing ball. The only problem, Andy, with Ole Miss winning is Lane Kiffin just keeps getting more money. But outside of that, we're pulling for you. Hotty toddy. Have a great night. God bless you. And we'll be back for more predictions next week.